Two freestylers with completely different backgrounds in terms of battle rap, and they finally meet on the big stage. It's time to break this one down. Welcome to the Battle Room. Charron and Serius Jones battled at the World Domination 7 card, the Toronto weekend, back in October of last year. Overall, the battle was decent. It's nothing amazing, but I think it was pretty good showings from both of them. Serius Jones won the coin toss, which kind of automatically pulls the rug from under Charron as he has to go first, so he already misses an opportunity to rebuttal. Charron opens up with his jokes and his robotic flow and his wittiness. His opening round was decent. He touched on a few typical angles that Serius Jones gets, from the punch with Math to him being the older rapper that used to battle on Fight Club, etc., etc. You're famous from Fight Club. We can tell. Your opponents are Ed Norton. They just beat themselves. Real gangsters don't get cracked and go to sleep. They get smacked and hope they cheat. I thought that was pretty hilarious. This ain't America. You won't hear Don DeMarco. I'm a Canadian killer. Paul Bernardo. Serius Jones opened up with a freestyle, basically saying that Charron was pissing sitting down at the event or something like that. Didn't hit with the crowd, and it wasn't crazy on cam either. After that, Serius pretty much went into about a minute and a half worth of material directed towards Math. He was in the building for that event. He battled Gems on that same card, and Serius Jones basically called him out for the fade in the parking lot after the event. The whole thing with him and Math happened like 5 years ago at this point. So to address it when you opening up your battle and you're battling Charron, I could see if you were battling Math, but you're battling Charron, man, and it's kind of a waste of time and a waste of your round to address that issue so many years after, you know what I'm saying? Like, there was no need to do it. Serius's round was kind of dry up until he got to the 8 Mile flip, where he said his real name's Charron, and Sharon's parents have a real good marriage. I thought that was pretty funny. They told me you're mentally slow for real, so if I give you the tools, it's gonna be to help you with your motor skills. He had a tool scheme that came right after that wasn't really too impressive, but it was pretty hilarious when he was telling Charron, separate your fingers. Like, I don't know why, but that was pretty funny to me. I think Serius had the best bar around when he hit him with the BET scheme. Congrats on being the whitest guy ever on Black Entertainment, but it won't BET when you end up shriveled up, wrapped in a blanket, getting interviewed in the basement. I gave this first round to Serius Jones pretty clear, and his presence and his flow was a clear separation from the get-go. Even with him taking bad angles and addressing Math for like a whole minute, still his energy alone outweighed Charron's, and there was a clear separation between the two that continued on throughout the battle. Charron's second round, his flow was improved. He was less robotic and less stiff. It was almost like he was listening to Serius Jones when he was coaching him, telling him to separate his fingers and all that. His round started off solid, but he trailed off and lost momentum by the end of the round. He had a rebuttal for the 8 Mile scheme that Serius Jones had, where he said, I'll flip that to show you I'm 8 miles ahead of you. You can't beat Eminem because there was no recovery after Math. He went into an angle where he was saying Serius Jones' style was old. The angle was kind of drawn out, but it ended well with Charron saying a self-proclaimed pimp should have more tricks up his sleeve. You went from, yo, you crazy versus Jen to, yo, you had a debatable with Gems. The ending of Charron's round was pretty awkward. It honestly looked like he was choking, but Serius Jones asked him was he done so fast that Charron just said time on himself. And I don't know, we'll never really know if he was choking or not. But to me, it looked like Earl might have been tapping him on the shoulder. I'm just saying. Serius Jones' second round, I thought was his best round of the battle. The round was more angle-based and it was more directly aimed towards Charron. Also, as good as his delivery was in the first round, Serius Jones elevated and had even more energy and more presence in the second. His round was kind of like the opposite of Charron's, from the sense of he started off slow, but momentum picked up and he ended crazy. After I battled Disaster, I had a bunch of Arab fans and a pack of stands. The smack killer, when he gets smacked, he lifts the arm to hold his face and keep rapping. What if I splash your face with gas, then lit a match so that even in the future you can't take the mask off unless they give Corey a graph? Fire. After this was when his round picked up, and he kind of did the equivalent of when a boxer throws a flurry of punches at the end of a round to try to steal it. He had a bunch of solid rounds where he was focused on multis and aggression, and it came off really well and pretty much got his best crowd reaction of the night. Farmer Jones, the haymaker. Player talking with the blazer, Craig Sager. You should have kept the beard, I might give you a shave later. Hardware hit a nerd's mainframe till it erased data. Then a gun button, then a rebuttal till you forget what you gonna say later. And my favorite quote of the round, there's more to combat than your finishing move. Great round from Serius Jones. I gave him the second round clear, so he's up 2-0 already at this point. Third round, Charron starts it off, and this is his best round by far in the battle. Charron's wordplay, his lyricism, his energy, everything was picked up in this round, and it kind of makes you wish that he was rapping like this for the entire battle. He opened up rebuttaling for like the first 8 bars of the round. Everything pretty much fell flat until he got to the throwing more chicken in Jim's versus Math line, which it hit because it happened earlier that night, but it wasn't that crazy. He had a "this is my last battle" angle where he ended it fire, where he said, if I was serious, I would have retired already. Stupid though. You're on life support, I breathe this. Sum it all up like a Fibonacci sequence. The Fibonacci bar led into another math scheme where he was add, subtraction, and fraction and all of that. Real typical math stuff. Charron addressed the math angle again, saying, you talked through his rounds, that punch wasn't cheap. Reminds me of your music career when he put you to sleep. You thought it was ludicrous, you got dropped for disturbing the peace. How can I be racist? I only took this battle so you didn't get a chain. And then he ended the round out sending a few shots at Big K, Rome, Disaster, and Iron Solomon. Serius Jones goes, and his third round is a regression from the second round, but it's better than the first, and it made for the most debatable round of the night. He started off with what feels like a little bit of counter writing, where he said, I'm gonna rebuttal everything you just said in that round, and none of what he said seemed to be freestyle, so that was dope. He had the political scheme. He gets paid to lie with tricks. To you, that's what govern meant. You're a blood sucker, so now I got an itch to scratch like I fell into politics. I'm the premier in Canada, this just in. Trudeau. I thought that whole scheme was pretty clever. After that, he had a real brief stumble. To be honest, it was so brief that I'm kind of mad that it even happened, because Serius Jones is a vet to the point where he should have been able to cover that up better. However, a stumble is a stumble, so count it against him for sure. He went into an angle about people that he battled not being prepared for him. Suckers make excuses, champions make history. You're lacking the soul of a warrior because you grew up in a total euphoria. Overall, real solid round from Serius Jones. Honestly, this was a debatable round, and I don't really have a preference in this round. If you told me you prefer Charron or Serius Jones, I wouldn't argue back and forth with you because it's a viable argument either way. I gave the battle to Serius Jones 2-1 clearly, debatable 3-0, depending on who you give the last round to. Serius Jones was just better lyrically and miles ahead of Charron in terms of his delivery, his presence, his flow, his energy. Everything about that separated the two of them in this battle. Also, instances like this show exactly how important round structure can be in a battle. Charron was touching on the same angles in round 3 as he was in round 1. The math material was honestly some of his best material of the night, so if he would have put that all together in the first round, which I felt was Serius Jones' weakest round, the battle might be more debatable. Honestly, it felt like Charron just found out he was battling Serius Jones, and he started writing and didn't think twice about it. And at the end of it, he said, I'm gonna take this opportunity to call out people that I actually want to battle. Charron didn't seem inspired, and Serius Jones continued being consistent. And with that, you have Serius Jones clearly winning the battle. As far as what's next for both of these guys, on Charron's side, he called out a few people, but to be honest, I think the 4 people that he called out will all clearly beat him. Out of the 4 battles that he mentioned in his 3rd round, I think a battle with Roan is probably the most logical, considering that Roan hasn't battled since he lost the chain. So I think that'll be a good bounce back battle for him. That could be a main event or a co-main event for one of the upcoming cards, like Blackout or something like that. So, you know, I expect to see a matchup similar to that in the future for Charron. Whatever the matchup is, I hope that it's something that motivates Charron. I've seen a lot better from him than he performed in this battle, so I'm hoping that we'll see that for his next time on the main stage on KOTD. After he battled Charron, Serius had another battle afterwards. He battled Enes in Philly on the same card that Kaboom and Cicero battled. As far as people who I want to see Serius Jones battle, it's kind of weird, man. I think Serius Jones is in a similar spot to where O-Red was at in 2013. You being consistent, you beating the people who are put in front of you, you putting on dope performances, and even if you losing, you're having good battles with top tier names. But for whatever reason, people feel like your opponents are sleeping on you, or nobody really cares about your battles, and you're winning battles, but you're not being brought up in the topic of conversations when it comes to battling bigger names. Over the past few months to a year, Serius' name has been brought up in a few conversations, battling Hollow and Tay-Rock, Averb, and to be honest, I think he deserves at least 1 or 2 of those names right now. But I think the issue is, if he was to get booked against somebody like a Hollow or a Tay-Rock, even though Serius Jones is a legend, people wouldn't be excited about that battle happening. He most recently called out Averb on Twitter, and Averb seemed like he was willing to do the battle, but I'm not a fan of them battling on Smack Volume 2. For one, I think Serius Jones is somebody who feeds off the crowd reaction, and when he says a line that he thinks is dope, but nobody around him is reacting, he has an audible reaction to that non-reaction. So I think he needs to be battling bigger names on cards where there's a big crowd. And if you put him against Verb in a small room, I feel like there's a chance he might get ate up. If Verb can rap without being interrupted or without people heckling him, he could be a problem. And I think that is not the look that Serius Jones wants. I'm definitely with the Averb battle happening, but I think it would end up being a better battle in a scenario where there's a big crowd, like a King of the Dot stage, maybe a Blackout or something like that. Also, because he's been so consistent on King of the Dot, if Head Ice wasn't the champion, I think you could say that Serius Jones is deserving of a title shot. I think at this point, KOTD is kind of lacking legitimate challengers for the title. And it's sad that Serius Jones and Head Ice already battled, because I think Serius has put in enough work on King of the Dot stage to be deserving of a title shot. Let me know what y'all think as far as who y'all feel won this battle and who y'all want to see them go up against next. I appreciate you watching this video. Make sure you leave a like, drop a comment, and subscribe for more dope battle rap content to come in the future. My name is Stan, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.